Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the Starline by a former FBI special agent and retired assistant director for counterintelligence at the FBI. His second book is Long Haul, Hunting the Highway Serial Killers. We welcome Frank Figliuzzi.
Thanks for having me, Sean, and for helping to shed some light on a pretty dark subject.
Frank, let's go beyond the mic. This book started because an FBI analyst told you about the Highway Serial Killings Initiative. When you heard about the 850 murders linked to long-haul truckers, what were your emotions?
Yeah, look, I was an FBI agent for 25 years. I retired as an assistant director. I prided myself on thinking I knew all the nooks and crannies of the FBI. But when this woman said, oh, yeah, I work for the Bureau, I head up the Highway Serial Killings Initiative, and then she proceeded to tell me the facts, the numbers, 850 murders alongside our nation's highways, mostly of women, mostly of sex-trafficked women. 200 of those cases are considered open and unsolved. And when I asked her, how many suspects are you looking at? She said 450. I decided I had to get my investigator hat back on. I hit the road. I rode 2,000 miles in a big rig, trying to figure out three subcultures: long-haul trucking, sex-trafficked victims, and the crime analysts who try to connect the dots to stop the killing.
Mental illness, drug addiction, and the need for money to pay their quota are some of the demons faced by women who are sex-trafficked. Why were these women targets for long-haul killers?
So you've got a ready-made vulnerable victim pool here, and you've got a perfect storm because the number one profession of serial killers is long-haul trucking. Why? Well, what's happening in these cases is the trucker is grabbing a victim in one jurisdiction, raping and killing her in a second jurisdiction, and dumping her body in a third jurisdiction. So it is a kind of perfect mobile crime scene in that 18-wheeler, and it makes for a huge challenge with law enforcement, figuring out who the victim is, whose case should it be, never mind who did it. And then you've got no family members knowing that their loved one is even missing, so there's no one championing the cause.
Frank Figliuzzi is the author of Long Haul, Hunting the Highway Serial Killers, and he joins us beyond the mic for the Rocky and 8. Frank, all this is 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. There is absolutely no pressure. Favorite food in Cleveland?
Oh, it's got to be a hot pastrami or corned beef sandwich at what's the place? It's been years since I've been there. But
what was the last movie you saw?
I just saw a movie this weekend, and it was called Ezra with Bobby Cannavale and Bobby De Niro and Rose Byrne. I loved it.
How long did your big rig cross country ride take?
We did that in one full week. And let me tell you something, I slept in the sleeper berth. We ate in that truck. I was ready to go home at the end of that week.
What was your best moment at UConn?
Best moment at UConn? Well, I went to UConn Law School, so graduation was the best moment. Anytime you can get out of law school alive, you're a winner.
That's how it is for all of us. How long did it take you to voice Long Haul?
I read my own Audible version, and it took 3 full days. And I will confess, I lost my voice at the end of those 3 days.
How many times have you visited the Grand Canyon?
Only one time in my life, and it was unforgettable. And I want to go back and do the north side as well.
Where's the best place you've cruised around the world?
Oh, yeah. I've got to pick Alaska. Even though I've done all the tropical places, Alaska was phenomenal.
What's your typical Starbucks order?
Oh, I'm a simple man. I'm gonna get the tall black with 1 stevia. That's it.
It's time for the back half with the author of Long Haul, Hunting the Highway Serial Killers. Frank Figliuzzi is the author, and he joins us beyond the mic. When you were tasked to lead an FBI squad to tackle crimes against children, how did that change the way you see criminals?
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. This is way back. I was in San Francisco. I was kind of happy running a counter-espionage squad in Silicon Valley. They asked me to come up to the city and run one of the first crimes against children squads in the FBI. And boy, I had young kids at this time, and I thought it just made it so much harder. And you'd come into work and you'd think you've seen the absolute worst humanity has to offer. And then you realize, no, you haven't. There's something worse you'll see today. So I think, a couple of things. One is I learned to be incredibly vigilant of my surroundings. I can now spot the pedophile who's looking for a victim at the playground or at the bus stop. These guys, we had a team that would go out and violate parole and probation for these guys because guess what? They were near the school, near the playground. They can't help themselves with hundreds of thousands of miles on their odometer because they drive around all day looking for them. So I became far more vigilant because of my work in crimes against children. And by the way, far more protective of my kids and now my grandkids.
Frank, you know what to look for in a sex trafficker. How do you handle when you see one?
Yeah, I will call my buddies in law enforcement if I think I've got a live one who's grooming or looking to grab a kid, and boy, they'll look at that vulnerable kid, the one with who's by himself. They'll wait weeks, if not months, for the kid to get alone. But I'll call a buddy in law enforcement and go, hey, check this out. Come with me. Check out this playground.
What percentage of these truckers will be caught from these 850 murders?
Oh, not enough. There are 25 long-haul truckers already in prison for multiple homicides, but we still got 200 unsolved, and the killing continues. So I'd say it's less than 50% of long-haul trucker killers have been captured. And the frustration in law enforcement when they do catch a guy and he's good for one or two, here comes a whole line of detectives from around the country line up to try and interview him for their killings, only to find out he didn't do it. He wasn't even near there. So this continues to happen, and we need to be aware of it on the road.
So how does that make you feel?
It's frustrating. I wrote the book in part as an exercise in trying to narrow down the 450 suspects. That's unwieldy. So I asked questions in the book. Which kind of killer which kind of trucker in which kind of truck is more likely to kill? Which kind of sex traffic victim is more likely to fall prey to a killer? This is kind of the theorizing that investigators do that plays out in the book.
It's time for the impossible question with Frank Figliuzzi, author of Long Haul, Hunting the Highway Serial Killers. Frank, what's the biggest threat facing the United States from external forces?
Without a doubt, the biggest external threat we face is China. Without a doubt. No question in my mind. They have made no bones about the fact that they want to dominate the world. They're building their blue water navy. They're trying to do battle with us in the economy, and they're not stopping.
Got to make you answer one big question. What are your thoughts on justice in the world today?
I'm saddened where we are. I'm saddened primarily by the fact of public perception, which, by the way, is valid. The credibility of our Supreme Court is being eroded. Our institutions writ large. We can't even come to agreement on a global pandemic and whether this works or that works. People are upset from both sides of the aisle with the Department of Justice. They're not moving fast enough. They're moving too fast. They're political. I can't trust the FBI. No, you can. We're in a bad place right now. And I'll be honest with you, it's going to take a generation to recover from this.
He loves a good hot pastrami, cruising in Alaska, and he wants you to read his book, Long Haul, Hunting the Highway Serial Killers. Frank Figiliuzzi, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thanks, Sean. Stay safe.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut. If you're enjoying these conversations, please check out another Beyond the Mic episode to find more actors, artists, and people you need to know. We'd also appreciate a like and subscribe on the Good Pods app.